and join me to welcome our first presenter. Our first presenter, as you have seen from the program and even from the screen, we'll talk about updates on arrangements for ICPAU exams. So our first presenter the name is there on the screen, and is Mr. John Bosco Ntangale. He's a director at the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda. So wherever you are, kindly join me and with a hand clap to welcome our presenter for this afternoon session. Mr. Ntangale, you are welcome to talk to students. I can see there are 203 students and more are coming. Yeah, thank you so much. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Ambrose. Good afternoon to everyone. You are all welcome to this training or this webinar. It is long since we've been in touch. We've all been affected by the coronavirus disease pandemic. But I want to congratulate you for being technologically savvy and see that you are able to cope with technology and you are attending this webinar. A modern accountant has definitely to be technologically savvy. So this afternoon, I will be taking you through the updates on arrangements for ICP examinations. I've gone through the Q&A, and I see some of you are already preempting what I want to tell you. So those questions which are already posted will be answered in this session. I'll move to my next slide. So the content of my presentation, I have introduction. I will talk about the COVID measures in place. I will talk about the impact of COVID-19 on the examinations. Then the contingency plans we have. Then we provide some guidance to students and then give you a take home. So I've already welcomed you. Ambrose has already mentioned that we have a series of webinars arranged for the students. Take advantage of them. It's a very rich menu. Don't go into the exam and say, I wish I had attended this webinar. As you all know, through the lockdown period, right from March, we've been issuing these circulars or updates related to the COVID-19 pandemic. But now we decided to get in touch with you virtually so that we can share what we have in place. And I want to thank you for staying safe and encourage you to stay safe, because the pandemic, it seems as we now have community infections and it is on a rampage. Make sure you observe the standard operating procedures, wear your mask, wash your hands, and don't move congested places unnecessarily. So as you all know, the World Health Organization declared the coronavirus disease as a global public health emergence of international concern on 30th January. Then on 11th of March, it was declared a global pandemic. So when it was declared a global pandemic, the governments all over the world were advised to take all the necessary measures to protect their health systems from becoming overwhelmed with patients seriously ill with COVID-19. So following that declaration, on 18th March, the President of the Republic of Uganda issued preventive measures against COVID-19 to be implemented initially for 32 days. As you all know, on that Wednesday night, he declared that the education institutions would be closed without exception on the 20th of March 2020. and they have remained closed to date. On 30th of March, the President of the Republic of Uganda put the country under a total lockdown. I'm sure some of you had never stayed home for that long, and probably you didn't know what was going to happen next. The first 2 weeks on my part were the most inconveniencing, having to stay in one place. As you all know, the lockdown was eased on 4th of June, with public transport restricted to carry 50% of their passengers' capacity. And of course, the vehicles can now carry, the private vehicles can now carry 4 people, and a partial opening of businesses. As you know, there are still some restrictions. Education institutions are not yet open. Large gatherings cannot be held. So we are still, there is still a bit of lockdown, although it has been eased. So what has been the impact of COVID-19 on our examinations? As you all know, we have 3 examination sessions. We have May, we have August, and November. May, it was absolutely impossible to conduct the exam, so the date was cancelled. And we thought we'd probably see it in June or July. But when the pronouncements were made, it was clear that educational institutions were not opened, and the President promised to come back to us at the end of August or probably early September and tell us what to do next. So as we talk, education institutions are closed, and of course our exams are an education activity, so they are affected. However, some of you had registered for exams. We kept the registration open, and we closed it on 30th June, hoping to conduct exams maybe in August or early September. But as things look, it is difficult. So the Public Accountants Examinations Board, when it became apparently clear that we cannot have the 3 dates of May, August, and November, decided to have 2 examination dates. That was the hope. But now, when it became apparent that 2 examination dates were not possible, PAEP sat recently and decided to have 1 examination date. I was told some of you were waiting for a big announcement. So once for now, we are hoping. We cannot for certain say that we shall have 1 date, but we are hoping that we shall have 1 examination date for this year. And that examination date is tentatively scheduled for 23rd, 27th November 2020. The original date when we had planned to conduct the examinations. So, having taken that stand of 1 examination diet, and we are hoping that we will be able to conduct those examinations, we will now reopen the registration on the 1st of September 2020 for the students who have not registered. Somebody in the question and answer was asking what is the fate of those who had registered. So we shall migrate all those who are registered the November examinations diet. And our hope is that we should be able to conduct examinations in all examination centers which we have across the country. So we don't, if you are in Arua, and probably we don't want to inconvenience you, and transport is very expensive because the buses are carrying a tough capacity to come to Kampala, would advise you register and stay in that center. So you mobilize the resources, start reading. Come 1st September, we shall open registration for those who have not registered. The students who wish to make changes in their examinations registration will have an opportunity to do so when open on 1st September. I know there are students who have been asking us, I put my center as Kampala, but now I'm operating from Mbale. Can I change? Yes, when we open on 1st September, you'll be able to change your venue. If you want to change it from Kampala to Mbale or to Fort Portal, you'll be able to do so. Or change it from Fort Portal to Kampala, it will be possible. If you are registered for one paper or for two papers, and probably you are now more ready, you've been reading, and you want to add papers, you have an opportunity to add those papers. So when we open on 1st September, those who are registered will be able to make changes on their registrations if they so wish. In terms of contingency plans, we are developing operating procedures which will be observed at the examination centers, and they will be issued together with examination permits. So we don't want to issue them now, then there are changes in the operating environment. So they will be issued towards together with examination permits. But what I want to say for now, at the examination, when the exams take place in November, we usually have luggage areas at the examination venues. This time, plan well, we shall not have an examinations, a luggage area at the examinations venue. And of course, you know that luggage is not allowed in the examination room. So start planning how you want to come to the examinations venue. Somebody will be talking about preparing for examinations. So come prepare early, then you will come with what you really need and what is permissible in the examination dates. Some of you had planned to complete the courses, or some of you, the completion periods have expired or are soon expiring. And this year, we have not been able, for the 2 days, we have not been able to conduct exams. So the board agreed that we extend the completion dates for those which are about to end for at least 1 year. So if the course was 10 years, we'll now extend and it becomes 11. We had also planned to roll out new syllabuses for ATC, ATD, and CPA in 2021. But when you roll out a syllabus, the students should have an opportunity to plan how they want to sit the papers, and those who want to complete the course before the new syllabus comes into force. So we are now deferring the rollout of the new syllabus to 2022. And this was also requested by your tuition providers, and the board has approved it. In terms of guidance to your students, would like to advise you take advantage of the period ahead, prepare thoroughly for examinations. Just start reading, or if you have been reading, intensify. Somebody will talk to you how you should prepare, but take advantage of the period ahead and prepare thoroughly for the coming examinations. We know there are restrictions on gatherings. You cannot go to class, but there are different learning pathways which you can take advantage of to ensure that interruption to learning is limited. So, for instance, if your tuition provider has online tuition facilities, take full advantage. Those of you who want to buy the study materials, they are available at ICPAU. Please come and purchase those books and start reading them. We also have a YouTube channel. You can actually see the channel. On that channel, you will find guidance on how to prepare for different subjects. You will also find material for the webinars which we have had for our members, but which are relevant for your study. So go to that channel and look at those videos, and they will enhance your learning. The take home I would like to give you is that education is the passport to the future. For tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. I've just been telling you to prepare for November. Don't say there is a pandemic, start now. Somebody said, if you run without a cause, when the cause comes, you will be ahead. So education is the passport to the future. Tomorrow belongs to those who are prepared, who prepare for it today. That was my Malcolm the 10th. Then Abraham Lincoln said, you cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. So if you want to sit exams in November, the responsibility is start reading today. So start reading. If you evade it, then when the time comes, you'll find that you are struggling, you are panicking, and you want to read at the center, but you don't know where to keep your books. So if you read thoroughly well, you prepare yourself well, you move at the center, you move with your head and with your hands, and you will see the exams and pass. And we are now, given that we have had a longer period of preparation, we expect even better pass rates. Dear students, I want to thank you for listening to me. I'll be answering the questions after the next presentation. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Ntangale. And I believe my friend students, wherever you are, you've got a 102, and we are happy. We may give thanks to him by hand clap, wherever you are in your heart. Thank you so much. Allow me introduce the next presenter. The next presenter is CPA Samuel Aggrey Mankaati. Samuel is a director at Sammy Professional Trainers and Consultants. It is a recognized training institution for CPA and for ICPAU courses. Sam is also an internal auditor at Bank of Uganda. He is also a member of the Professional Standards Committee of ICPAU. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Sam to give a presentation on readiness for a CPA exam. Sam, you are welcome.
Thank you, CPA Ambrose, for that kind introduction. A good afternoon to all of us who are on this platform. I want, first of all, to thank the Secretariat for organizing this students' webinar, and also to extend my thanks to Director Education for the insights which you have provided. These insights are very, very important to us as students for CPA, ATD, as well as CTA. And we are going to look at some key insights. What should we do given the comments, given the insights given by Director Education, ICPAU? What should we do to prepare for the exams? As a facilitator or as a person who teaches some papers, students have been asking me one question. Shall we have the exams? And I believe that that question has been answered sufficiently by Director Education. My task is to show you what should you do, what should an ideal student do to prepare for the forthcoming exams, which are scheduled in the last week of November 2020. And as we shall be moving through, I'll be projecting the slides, and I expect that people will be able to follow through with me when you're covering these particular areas. The first thing which we need to look at is the outline of the presentation. The topic is readiness for ICPAU examinations. We are not as such tailoring the presentation to only CPA, but we know that on the platform we have people who are doing ATD, we have also people who are doing CTA, as well as CPA Uganda. But I will try to say that amidst the COVID challenges, amidst the partial lockdown, which is currently present in our country, Uganda, as students, we need to prepare for the exams. And what tips can I give, can I provide in this webinar for you to prepare for the exams? The outline of the presentation, I'll look at the CPA syllabus and the other syllabuses for ATD as well as CTA, but I'll just use this as a way of assimilating the different syllabuses which are normally provided in those papers. I'll look at planning to sit for the exams. Given that the Director Education has told us that the exams are scheduled tentatively in November, we need to plan on how to sit for the exams. Thirdly, I'll talk about the learning phase. What should we do in the learning phase? What should we do in the revision phase, which should be part of our planning process? What should we do in the final preparation phase? What should we do when we are attempting for the exam, when we are attempting the exams? And also lastly, I'll talk about some keywords of wisdom, which is in form of the advice, which you can give to students, to our dear students of CPA, ATD, as well as CTA. To start with, every paper which you are sitting for must fit into the syllabus. It could be ATD, it could be CPA, but I need people to understand what is examined at each level. I used this syllabus of CPA to assimilate and also look at what is expected of you. At level 1, we test competence. Level 2, the testing is for technical skills. Level 3, the testing is for professional expertise. Level 4 is still a test for professional expertise. What is the implication of this summary? Is in the approach which you take as you are attempting these exams. A person who is writing an exam at level 1 should not be seen to give those solutions which could be given at level 3. And in the same case, if you are attempting an exam at level 3, don't write those solutions or answers which are like the ones at level 1. Please, the levels at which we examine or we set these exams is actually different. The test of competence, level 1 exams, you should know how to handle them. And the tuition providers will guide you on the ideal solutions to be provided. Level 2, we test technical skills. Level 3, it is a test of professional expertise. If you do a paper like advanced financial reporting, business policy, advanced financial management, all these papers are testing for professional expertise. And in the same way, the answer which you normally present in the exam should be reflecting that element of the professional expertise which we expect from you. The second thing is planning to sit for the exams. What should we do? One is choose an appropriate study option. It could be self-study, it could be accredited tuition providers. Given the COVID pandemic, I believe we have a series or a number of tuition providers who are accredited to ICPAU who have opted for online tuition provision. And very many students already, they are enrolling for these online tuition provisions, where we expect that if you are lagging behind because you wanted to know the date where their exams, are there exams? Please. The fact is, tentatively, we have exams in November. Choose an appropriate study option. You can do self-study. You can do online tuition provision. Myself, we have tuition, we have lectures which are online. Other institutions, they have lectures which are online. Please, wherever we are studying from, we have moved away from the physical sessions. Now we have embraced the online sessions. Can you please kindly get in touch with your tuition provider and try to find the way preparing for the exams? Secondly, draw up a study plan. Know when you are supposed to do something in order to prepare for the exams. When am I supposed to start revision? When am I supposed to attend the lectures? When am I supposed to discuss with my friends? The discussion groups are no longer physical. When people have moved to online discussion groups, but others, they already gave up because of COVID. Don't give up. A CPA is a very nice brand. CTA is a very nice brand. ATD is a very nice brand. Don't give up. Thirdly, once you have prepared the study plan, please stick to it. Adhere to the requirements in your study plan. You know yourself, you know the best time you can revise, you know the best time you can attend the lecture. When they are scheduled, stick to that study plan. Consider building in an extra study period after every topic or chapter to review and consolidate your learning. Please, once a topic is completed by a particular facilitator, don't presume that for you have completed. No, he has just given you insights into that topic. Can you create some additional time? Because as per the time which is available, the facilitator may not cover all the questions under that topic. Can you create an extra study period after every chapter to review and consolidate your learning? A person who is ready to sit for a CPA, ATD, and the CTA exam must create additional study period at the end of every topic to review and consolidate your learning. What do we do under the learning phase? The learning phase normally has serious issues which you need to consider. One of it is that obtain and review the contents of the syllabus for each paper which you are attempting. If you are attempting public sector accounting and reporting, if you are attempting financial reporting, if you are attempting business policy and strategy, if you are attempting integration of knowledge, do you know the contents of the syllabus? Or you wait until the final week and you start reviewing the syllabus? The syllabus ideally should be reviewed at the beginning and also progressively as the sessions go on. You should be informed by the facilitator of what is expected of you at the beginning of the learning process. And you should also be able to embrace the fact that the syllabus is ideally supposed to be your instrument which you have on your fingertips. You should know the extent to which you have covered the syllabus. Are we halfway? Are we 3/4 of the syllabus? Have we been able to cover the syllabus substantially? We are talking about the mindset of a person who is ready for the exam. Number two, ensure that you obtain appropriate reading materials to prepare for the examination. Please, obtain appropriate reading materials. We are very glad and grateful to the Institute of Certified Public Accountants that out of the initiative being taken to develop some study materials for the papers, please make use of these reading materials, and also probably the facilitator where you attend your lectures from, he may provide additional materials. Thirdly, utilize online platforms for any supplementary information on the areas covered. All of us have digital devices. We have mobile handsets. We have laptops. Please, can we go an extra mile and we look at supplementary information? If I have covered a certain area, let us say in audit, I've talked about forming an audit opinion. Can a person go an extra mile beyond what is covered by a facilitator and you understand more information about forming an audit opinion. If I talk about public sector financial management reforms, can somebody go an extra mile and you know the current public financial management reforms, you read more information? The challenge is when you are given this information in the session, that is the end. Please let us try an extra mile. And people have been posting in the Q&A, they wanted online information about the reading materials. And if you have the hard copy, personally, I like hard copies very much, because hard copies are very, very easy when you are looking at the bits of the revision and also summarizing your points. Make sure you have the assumed knowledge for each paper. If you are doing CTD, if you are doing CTA, if you are doing CPA, and there are different papers, if I'm doing ATD and there is customs tax, there is assumed knowledge about the tax rates. If I'm doing ATD and they are talking about financial reporting, there is assumed knowledge of how you compute depreciation. If I'm doing CPA and I'm attempting a paper which is financial management, OMDC, advanced financial management, OMDC, I ought to know some things. Computing weighted average cost of capital, that is assumed knowledge at level 3. Talk about MDC, computing contribution per unit, that is assumed knowledge. If you are doing advanced financial reporting, the quoting of IFRS, the knowledge of IFRS, it is assumed knowledge. Do you know some of the basic standards? IS 16, IS 40, that is assumed knowledge at level 3. Some people, they forgot these aspects, and that is why facilitators, we need to remind these people. And it may not be as such a role of the facilitator. Yourself, you are the one who must do an extra effort to ensure that you're embraced with the assumed knowledge in each of the papers. Under the learning phase, please consistently attend the lecture sessions with unaccredited tuition providers. We are in a market where everybody can pretend to be a tuition provider. Anybody, I have finished the financial reporting. Next sitting, I'm lecturing students. Consistently attend sessions with accredited tuition providers. You find a situation where a student is teaching fellow students. For him, he's sitting for advanced financial reporting. But because he finished the financial reporting, he's teaching. And please analyze these tuition providers. Analyze them and know the best places where you can go to. There are several accredited tuition providers. Check the website of the institute. The tuition providers are there. Contact them, and they have online options of providing tuition to you, our dear students. Always make further consultations or inquiries on any difficult areas encountered during the learning process. If you experience any difficulties during the learning process, please kindly contact your facilitator. There are several options of consulting us. It could be a WhatsApp chat. It could be on Facebook. It could be a voice call. You can call me. It could be on Twitter. The good thing is that we're studying at a time when these facilitators have embraced technology. Please consult us. Even during the online sessions, just unmute and ask a question. Let us not fear. Please, any further consultations should be made on the difficult areas. If you don't do it, please, it will be a disservice to you. Can you consult the facilitator? After all, you paid your tuition. Where will you assess value for money from? It is by making several consultations from this facilitator about the difficult areas which you actually encounter. Have a discussion group which is online now. Can we meet at a scheduled time online? Each of us is at his or home, and we have a discussion about a topic. It could be very interesting. But some of us, the moment they declared a national lockdown, even our brains, even our books, we had to close all over them. And even if I talk now, somebody will say for me, I'm not bringing the books from the lockdown. Some of the books are under lockdown. It is high time we prepared for the exams. Don't put your head, don't put your books under lockdown. It is no longer feasible. And how long will we sustain that? It is better we see how we can adopt these options which are available. Lastly, but not the least, ensure that you are up to date with the current developments in the areas covered in each paper. If I'm covering ATD, if I'm covering CTA course, it has issues of tax. Am I well versed with the current developments? Or you are a historian? Some people, they are historians at an age of 30. They are purely talking history. Tax amendments are being made day in, day out. Public sector reform, financial management reforms are changing. The systems which are being used in the sector, they are changing. Talk about MDC. Talk about business policy. What is the impact of COVID on business strategy, on HR management? That is a current development. People are being laid off, but somebody cannot stress any current developments in business policy. It's very, very important to know. Companies are restructuring their loans. That is a current development. And an examiner can pick a question from that context. The question is, are you ready for the exam? Do you know the current developments? If they are reporting papers, do you know the latest accounting standards? We have a webinar which is coming on very soon about IFRS updates. Are you updated on IFRSs? Or you are a historian? When they tell you that there is a new standard on releases, IFRS 16, you say, for me, I know the old one. When they tell you that there is IFRS 17 on insurance contracts, you say, for me, I know only IFRS 4. Please embrace the current developments in the areas which we are covering in each paper. Under revision, please attempt as many questions as possible to prepare for the final examination. Revision can be done concurrently as you are studying. Whenever you finish a topic, do as many questions as possible. Secondly, include more time in the study plan to attempt specific questions or a mock exam. In some cases, the facilitators, the tuition providers give us some practice questions. Like I do, we give people practice questions and people don't attempt. Please include more time in your study plan to attempt specific questions. Their mock exams, they'll give you some questions, please try them out. Others, they don't try them out, thinking by trying out the questions, it is to the benefit of the facilitator. Please, the facilitator is already CPA. And by you doing those questions, it does not add anything on the facilitator because having given you those questions, the facilitator already has the solutions. Please include more time in your study plan to attempt specific questions. Don't be afraid to attempt questions which you have already done during the lecture sessions. Even you should start with those questions which you did during the lecture because they enable you gain confidence. And when you're attempting them, try not to look at the solution or the answers before attempting the questions. Don't look at the solution as you are attempting, no. Put away the solution and start afresh. That is the only way you can assess yourself whether you understood what they were lecturing or not. Others, they want to try completely new questions. No, start with the ones which you did during the lecture, and then you can try, expound, and get other new questions. Review the proposed solutions to all the questions. Review the proposed solutions. Their proposed solutions given by the facilitator. Look at the proposed solutions on the ICPAU website as you're attempting these questions and inquire. If you face any difficulty in comprehending what is included in the proposed solution, kindly consult the tuition provider. The tuition provider is there to add value to you, and you can only add value as tuition providers if you consult us. Anybody who is not willing to consult us, we shall leave you. But those who are able to approach us, we shall answer the questions which you are able to raise. Final preparation for the exams. Please review again the questions that you found difficult when you are looking at the revision. Which question did I find difficult to attempt? Which questions were hard? Review them again. Read through the syllabus again to appreciate the examination format, the style of the questions which they set, the specific syllabus areas that should have been covered during the learning process. Have we covered the syllabus 100%, 20%, 80%? Here you find a student who doesn't know where the syllabus coverage is. We are covering questions, but you cannot assess that we are now halfway the syllabus. It is your responsibility, and please inform the facilitator that we are badly off as far as syllabus coverage is concerned. It is your responsibility, and also the facilitator will enable you to embrace the idea of ensuring that the syllabus is covered. Review the specimen exams to understand how the marks are allocated to different sections. Review the specimen exam, a sample examination paper, to see how the marks are allocated. How many marks are in section A? How many marks are in section B? How many questions are in section B? And how many marks are allocated to each question? Very important. This, you are making final preparations. You must understand the format of the exam. Other people, they are shocked. They even go to the exam minus knowing how section A is normally supposed to be appearing in the exam. Understand the marks allocation, because this will inform your decision as you are attempting the exam. When we are attempting the exam on that day, please sleep properly. Don't spend the night before the examination day doing last minute revision. Don't spend the last night during last minute revision. It is better to prepare now. You find somebody on that eve of the exam, the last night, the person had a sleepless night. The whole night you spend it when you are reading. There is a highest probability. The probability is very high that actually you may not be able to perform very well in the exam. Secondly, eat properly before you leave for the examination. I notice milk sometimes it's very hard to eat, but please eat properly. Eat a very decent meal. Go and attack the exam. Go and handle this particular exam. Thirdly, try not to get into discussions with the fellow students just before the examination to discuss about what areas might come up in the examination. If you leave your room, you go to Nambole in November, please don't discuss with anybody. What do you expect to come up in the exam? No, that is irrelevant. If you are prepared in advance, we are talking about this when we are in August. We have the month of August, the month of September, we have the month of October, and the month of November. That time is sufficient for us to prepare, such that we avoid these last minute discussions about what friends have heard that it is coming. You will be disappointed. In most papers, you can't predict what the examiner will bring. The next one, ensure that you have all the equipment necessary for you to attempt the exam. Do you have the pens? Do you have the pencils, calculators? You find the person going for a computational paper, like advanced financial reporting, quantitative techniques, QT. Somebody is going for customs tax, CTA. Is going for international tax, and the person doesn't have a calculator. How do you expect to pass? This is basic knowledge, but these are normally oversights, which you normally make. Carefully read the instructions to guide you as you attempt the examination. Carefully read the instructions. Some people, they don't pay attention to the instructions, and they are very key. Thirdly, pay attention to every detail as you attempt each question in the examination. Please, CPA, ATD, and the CTA, their professional qualifications. The examiner will normally include some details which he expects that you should pay attention to. Some of us will don't pay attention to detail, and it is one of the key attributes of a very nice accountant. Accountants should be people who pay attention to every detail. Do we pay attention to every detail during the exam? It is food for thought. Pay attention to every detail. Read the whole question. Otherwise, you reach a point when you get out of the exam, you see a particular word which was very small. Prepare the cash flow statement using the indirect method. For you used the direct method and you collapse. Allocate and manage your time properly as you attempt the different questions. Allocate the time properly as you are attempting the different questions. That is why it is very important to understand how many marks are in section A and how many questions are there. It is one question. How many questions are in section B and how many marks are allocated to each particular question. Allocate your time properly. We have faced situations where somebody starts with section A. You start with section A, you spend most of the time in section A, and you realize after 2.5 hours that you need to go to section B when it is too late. Please, you better manage your time properly to pass the exam. Adhere to the presentation formats or reporting formats requested for in the examination. Sometimes you may be required to present a solution which is in form of a report. The solution which is in form of a memo, that is a presentation format. The reporting formats, the reporting standards. If you're talking about tax, can you quote at least one section in the Income Tax Act? If you're talking about financial reporting, can you quote at least one standard which is an IFRS? If you're talking about business policy and strategy, can you quote one mode of analyzing the environment of a business entity? If you're talking about change management, can you quote a model which you can use to implement change in an organization? Those are reporting formats. The next area which I want to look at is the professional advice. These are food for thoughts, which I'm leaving with you. One is that please let each of us believe in him or herself. Believe in yourself. One of the inspirational quotes which inspires me is that it always seems impossible until it is done. Public sector financial reporting is impossible until it is done. Try to get it done and it will seem to be possible. Secondly, believe that you can and you are halfway there. People who are at level 2, level 3, just believe that you are halfway the journey. It is not worthwhile for you to relax. Believe in yourself that you are halfway done with the CPA, and that can energize you to continue to press on. Secondly, cultivate a success mindset. Cultivate a success mindset. John Maxwell quoted and said, successful and unsuccessful people don't vary greatly in terms of their abilities. They only vary in terms of their desires to reach their potential. People who pass the paper and the ones who don't pass, they don't vary greatly in terms of their abilities, but they just vary in terms of their desires. Somebody is yearning to pass a paper. Another person is feeling that CPA is a burden. Successful and unsuccessful people don't vary greatly in terms of their abilities. What makes them vary is their desire to reach their potential. A person is disappointed because of failing the exam once. There is a person who has attempted the exam 3 times and he hasn't yet passed. Why don't you get that new desire to reach your potential and pass the exam? Robert Collier said, success is the sum of the small efforts repeated day in and day out. What defines success are those small efforts. If I read one topic per day, those are small efforts. But once they are repeated day in, day out, in fact, at the end of the day, I will achieve success. Jim Rohn said, don't wish it were easier. Wish that you were better. Don't wish that advanced financial management was easy. I wish the paper was easy. No, just wish that yourself you were better to pass it. Don't wish that the exam can be adjusted to the level of every student. No, just wish that if I was better prepared for the paper, it could be a success. Another area which we need to look at, Hard work. Please let us work hard. Beaver said, there are no shortcuts to any place worth going. There are no shortcuts. Some people, they think that they can get the exam and they pass. No, money can buy something in Uganda, but it may not be able to buy a CPA exam. There are no shortcuts. Please work hard. The people who are saying that they are teaching you, they didn't have shortcuts. You better appreciate the fact we don't have shortcuts in CPA, in CTA. Work hard. There are no shortcuts to any place which is worth going. Another quotation which motivates me: push yourself because no one else is going to do it for you. We know that you are disappointed. You have done duty for 3 times, it has failed. Please push yourself because no one else is going to do that paper for you. Nobody else is going to come and do exercise duty for you, exercise tax. Nobody is going to come and do integration of knowledge for you. Nobody is going to read it for you. Nobody is going to attend online lectures for you. Push yourself. We know data is very expensive, and we have cheaper options like this package, which is in Airtel. Freak Friday, 6,000, you can attend sessions for the whole weekend. Please, if you don't push yourself, nobody is going to do that paper for you. Avoid giving excuses. Most of us are full of giving excuses. We are fond of giving excuses, and a very important quote says that if it is important to you, you will find a way. If it is not important, you will find an excuse. If the paper is very important to you, if the CPA course is a very important course to you, you will always find a way of attending online lectures. But if it is not important, you will find the lame excuses like we don't have data, I cannot connect. Those are the challenges excuses which we give. If it is important to you, you will find a way. But if it is not important, you will find the excuses. Why this is very hard? You will always find an excuse. But if it is important to you, you will always find a way. Avoid giving excuses. Don't say that you don't have enough time. Some of you say you don't have enough time. You have exactly the same number of hours per day like others do. You are attempting the same exam. This is public sector accounting and reporting. This is advanced financial reporting. This is the business policy. This is taxation. Don't say that you don't have you don't have enough time. Other people who are attempting the same paper, they pass, and you're having the same number of hours per day like others do. Perseverance is very important. People attempt exams and they find a situation where these guys are not moving. Please persevere. Michael Jordan said, I have failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Let me repeat it. I have failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. The reason why you can succeed, why you can pass a paper, is because you don't give up. Some people have given up. For me, I receive students, public sector. They have done it for 4 times, and they say, for me, I'm fed up of attending sessions. I remember this quote by Michael Jordan, and I tell them, please, you have failed over and over and over again. But that is what defines your success. And at the end of the day, these guys become victors. They pass the paper. What paper has given you challenge? Is it integration? Is it MD? Is it MDC? Is it advanced financial management which has given you a challenge? My kind request is, please, you have failed over and over and over again. But this will define your success. Lastly, perseverance. Failure is an opportunity to begin again more intelligently. That is by Henry Ford. Henry Ford is saying failure, if you fail the paper, it is an opportunity for you to begin more intelligently because you know what made you fail. What made you fail the paper? You know it, other than a person who is doing the paper for the first time. Henry Ford is saying, Failure is the opportunity to begin again more intelligently. You'll be even more brighter than a person who is fresh doing a paper. You know the mistakes which you did and you can't repeat them. Lastly, on perseverance, challenges are what make life interesting. Overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. That is by Joshua Merrin. Challenges are what make life interesting. If we don't have challenges, we can't push ourselves. But overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. CPA has different challenges when you're studying. But when you get to the level of going for the graduation at Imperial Royal Hotel, life will be meaningful. I have attended the graduation ceremonies, and people realize that life is meaningful on that day. When they put on that attire, that I'm now a CPA, I'm a CTA, I have completed our accounting technician's diploma. How I pray that you take these food for thoughts from me. And we appreciate you for listening to me. Thank you for listening to me. And any questions and comments, you can receive them happily and we shall be able to respond to them. I want to thank Secretariat for giving me an opportunity to share my thoughts with our dear students and wish you all the best as you're preparing for the November 2020 exams. May the good Lord richly bless you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, CPA Sam. May the good Lord also bless you. We are
Amen.
very grateful for a wonderful presentation. We are so happy, me and the team here, we have enjoyed your presentation. Thank you so much. Before we go to Q&A, I would like to recognize the presence of tuition providers on the platform on this webinar. I have seen CPA Budala Nsubuga, CPA Charles Wizera, CPA Charles Kabunga. Charles Kabunga is not a tuition provider, but he's a senior member of the institute. We thank you, and others whom I may not have seen, we recognize your presence. Thank you so much for being with the students as you listen into the updates and also the readiness for preparation for ICPAU exams. Now we go into Q&A. I believe JB has already filtered his questions. Let's give him a chance. He answers his questions. Then I also request him to hand over the microphone to you, Aggrey, and you answer yours. Then we shall see. We are still in time. I thank you. Over to you, JB. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ambrose. I've gone through some questions. Some of them I answered them in my presentation. One was asking whether we need to pay renewal fees for 2020. Fortunately, you will pay the fees. It is only, I think it's only 100 or 120,000. The renewal fees is payable every year. Somebody is asking about, can't we have online exams? Yes, we are thinking about online exams, but we are not able to implement them in the short run, and especially issues, the security concerns. But once we have sorted that out, it is something we are thinking about for the next syllabus. Somebody was wants us to declare a dead year for 2020. I think the year is not yet dead. We still have a chance for one diet. If it becomes impossible, that's when we shall say it is a dead year. But for now, we are still hopeful that we shall have at least one diet. Somebody is asking about expiration of completion periods. I think I answered that we shall extend the completion periods for 1 year. There are those who have overstayed on the course. Those are unique. If you have now reached if you have 2 years in arrears, then you have to make a special request and will be attended to. There is a form which you have to fill. Somebody wanted to combine levels 3 and 4, given that we have had this challenge of COVID-19. Unfortunately, the regulations haven't changed. We are keeping the same regulations. You will have to sit in November, then complete maybe next year. Somebody wants to access study materials online or how to get them. The study materials, they are still physical. You can arrange with the office and we see how the study materials, if you contact us, you pay for the study materials, you will be advised, you can advise on how you want to access them. But currently we don't have study materials online. Somebody is asking about registration cards that students registered and they have not received their registration cards. I want to assure the new students and those who ask for replacements that all the cards are ready. If you walk in, you will pick the registration card, but we can also deliver them at the examination venues if you find it unnecessary travel to our offices. Some people are still thinking about Nambole as a venue for exams. I want to inform the students that Nambole will not be our venue for exams. Nambole is now a hospital for COVID patients. I don't think if you are not a COVID patient, you'll be able to access Nambole. Maybe if you are health, or if you now as a health worker. So we shall inform you of the new venues in due course for Kampala. For upcountry, we still have the same venues. Maybe I need to comment about one thing that Aggrey mentioned about spending a sleepless night reading. I have had that experience. There is a time we went for exams, and one student, the moment he stepped in the exam, he took a nap immediately. That means he had not slept. And the invigilators were saying, what do we do with these students? I said, the student has come in, he has not disturbed anybody, he's not dreaming, just let him do, he's not dreaming loudly, you could have been dreaming silently. Let him, when he wakes up, you will do the exam. Fortunately for that student, he was able to do the exam and pass, but many of you will not be able to do that. So take the advice by CPA Mankaati, have some good rest, eat well, come to the exam very relaxed when you are not, and in time when you are not in tension. I should be able to pick the other questions as Aggrey picks, answer some questions. Thank you, Ambrose.
Yes, thank you, Director, for those responses. I've been able to pick some questions. Somebody asked that what are other recommendable materials other than textbooks? There are online platforms where you can get some of the study materials. I normally tell people that the information is available. In the current digital world, where we have IT devices, you have every information in your hands. If I'm looking for example, information on financial reporting, just to go to Google on your phone, type in a certain IFRS, you get a lot of information about it. If I'm talking about change management, there is a lot of information which has been written on change management. Meaning, Google, you can even just go to Google, and Google is a basic search engine which you can look up to get some of this information. Information is available, even practice questions, they are available on the different topics. Just type in that I need to look at weighted average cost of capital. Type in computational questions, weighted average cost of capital, and you'll have the questions. Please, these are ex-students which people give, they say for us, we don't know the online platforms which you can use. Please, information is available in your hands. Another person said, share with us the PowerPoint. I think this is the information which is going to the Secretariat. These PowerPoint presentations are going to get them, and I believe that we shall be sharing them. And then thirdly, somebody said that how can we prepare for the exams when we don't have online lectures? Very many institutions have been able to roll out online sessions. Like personally, we have online sessions for public sector, advanced financial reporting, and financial reporting. We are starting even now with new students to see that we prepare them for November exams. But the challenge is, some people, you are already in a lockdown and you don't want to add just anything. You are just waiting for next year as you are requesting the Secretariat to declare a dead year. Please let us move away from that comfort zone. Before the year is declared as a dead year, let us not request that it is declared as a dead year. Remember, time once lost can never be regained. Time once lost can never be regained. That's why one of the intelligent men said that it is nobody is rich enough to buy yesterday. If we don't do the exams now, nobody is rich enough to buy yesterday. But if you work hard, the future can be yours. It can be yours if at all you work today. It is better to do the exam now than postponing it. We are postponing the same paper. What will you benefit? If you keep postponing the exam, there is no absolute benefit. You are postponing as obligations. For us accountants, we say, those are obligations. You need to clear the paper. Therefore, I would even be very, very okay for somebody to say, for us, we are now looking at attempting the exam. Let us avoid giving excuses. They will not take us anywhere. And nobody will tolerate those excuses. Another person said, please look for the tuition providers who can have these online sessions. The classes are going on, even though some of you don't know that actually the classes are going on. And the good thing is that these institutes, when you look at them, they are available. They are available on the ICPAU website. Make use of the ICPAU website and be able to appreciate that fact. Another person says, can we get a soft copy of the current syllabus? This is available on the website of ICPAU. Please, the current syllabus, I think somebody is doing financial accounting. The current syllabus is available on the institute's website. Just log in and then you will get the syllabus. Can an examiner set questions out of the syllabus? Ideally, most of the questions are in the syllabus. It's only that the syllabus may not be as such lengthy, but some of the questions, most of the questions are got from the syllabus itself. Therefore, this is also an excuse to those ones who want the questions to be direct. They just want those questions which are set at level 1 to be set at level 3. No. Level 3, we are testing or we are assessing your professional expertise. Therefore, at level 3, you don't expect those direct questions. That is why people say that there are questions outside the syllabus. But ideally, there is no question outside the syllabus. I thank you for those questions. Those are the ones which are picked. I don't know whether JB is ready to respond to others which he has picked so far.
Thank you, Aggrey. You have already talked about sharing the PowerPoint. We shall certainly share the PowerPoint. Some people were asking about, you talked about the resources. I want to share some websites. Those two websites, those who are doing financial reporting, if you go to ifrs.org, you should be able to see some standards. Then if you go to ifac.org, there is the Knowledge Gateway. I think I didn't complete it. Knowledge Gateway, there are a lot of resources which can enhance your learning. Somebody was asking, will there be a chance for change of subjects or withdraw from some papers? I said come 1st September, when the platform is open, you will be able to change the subjects if you wish to change, if you want to withdraw, or if you want to change the examination center. Then somebody was saying, are the dates for examinations confirmed? My presentation was clear. Those dates are tentative. It will depend on what the government, it will depend on the government's guidance. At the end of August, the president promises to come back. From his guidance, we should be able to judge and see whether we confirm the dates, but we are hopeful that the dates will be confirmed. Somebody asked, those who registered in May, what is their fate? I mentioned in my presentation that if you registered in May, for May exams, your candidature has been migrated to November. Unless if you don't want to sit in November, then you can go and withdraw after we have opened. But otherwise, you are automatically migrated to the November examinations date. Somebody says, I'm in Entebbe, I want a credible tuition provider. There is nobody giving face-to-face tuition now because education activities, physical education activities are restricted. What is provided for is online, and online you don't need somebody from Entebbe. You can get somebody from Kampala. You can get somebody from Barara, from Mbare, from Guru, from anywhere. Somebody wanted a list of tuition providers who provide online tuition. I think we are going to do Ambrose, who is in charge of training, will contact the approved tuition providers, and then we shall be able to provide that list on our website. Somebody is asking whether since there are no exams, whether if in case there were no exams this year, if the fees will be forfeited, there will be no forfeiture of fees. We are hopeful exams will be conducted, but should it be necessary not to conduct exams, your fees will be safe, it will be moved to next year. Then somebody is asking the completion periods, whether they affect the candidates or the finalists. To us, every student is a finalist because the paper you do, you don't repeat it. So it is affecting everybody. Those who want, if somebody wants to take a break for 2 years and go abroad, most countries have closed. I don't know who wants to go abroad unless if you are already abroad. But if you are taking a break, the period is 10 years. You are given 10 years to complete the course, and you have only taken off 2 years. And I've seen people completing within 2 years. So you still have enough time. But all we are saying is that because this year has been impacted by COVID-19, on the completion period, we are automatically adding 1 year for each student. But that means if we give you 11 years, you don't have to spend 11 years on the course. Instead of becoming a professional accountant, you'll be a professional student. And we don't want a professional student. We want you to sit the exams. Being a student is a transitional period to becoming a professional accountant. So 10 years is 10 years, and now 11. To me, it's a long time. You should know, you should complete, get promoted, and develop your career. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, JB. Sam, do you have any questions you see in the chat?
Yes, thank you so much, JB, for that. I will just supplement some comments which are made by JB. Somebody was requesting for tuition providers in Entebbe. One of the new norms which you should appreciate is that it's not about location now. It's more about being proactive and getting those who provide online tuition. As JB has advised, Secretariat will be sharing this information with you. And you can also contact the tuition providers, given that you can access their contacts on the ICPAU website. ICPAU may not, as such, provide this information. The information is on the website and you can contact them. Somebody was talking about online classes to be provided by ICPAU. I think, JB, you will be Updating on this, ICPAU performed the role of setting the examinations and supervising as well as ensuring that those exams are managed properly. But the role of tuition provision is for the accredited tuition providers. WhatsApp group for all the students. This is food for thought for the Secretariat, which you can also look at. But we expect that we can be able to look at these different areas. Somebody was asking about a webinar for CTA course. Yeah, he's saying that we have only made provisions. ICPAU has made provisions for the CPA course. Then what about the CTA course? Is there any hope of looking at the CTA course? I think this is food for thought, and ICPAU can give us an updated position on those areas. Otherwise, thank you for being active, and this shows us that we are following what we are deliberating on in this forum. Otherwise, those are the questions which I see in the chat, unless I can see others which I can respond to. But most of the questions are looking at extending the deadline, which already JB pointed out, issues of whether we shall carry forward the registration fee if at all the exams are not in November, which JB has already pointed out. I thank you so much, and I wish you good luck.
Thank you so much, Sam.
Ambrose, let me respond to this. Creating a WhatsApp group for students, that is food for thought, but I know a WhatsApp is 256 people, and you are over 10,000. But it's something, as Aggrey said, is food for thought. And as Aggrey pointed out, we are not a tuition provider. Our role is conduct examinations. So we have recognized tuition providers who provide that service. For CTA, we have actually done, there is a webinar on tax updates, and it is cutting across both CPA, ATD, and CTA. Please attend that one as we organize others. Thank you.
Thank you so much, JB. There is also someone who was asking about whether we shall give CPD hours. Yes. For members of the institute, you may qualify for the CPD hours. And of course, for students, you need you still have a long way to go, as Sam has indicated. Once you are done with the CPA course, then you go into the CPD items. Thank you. Sam, do you see any question in the Q&A?
In the Q&A, somebody was also asking something to do with the sharing of the recordings. I think that one was also the recording of the session. It could be important for the future purposes. And I think those are the questions which have been asked. The others are more or less repetitive questions, which have already been asked.
Oh, thank you.
Maybe there is somebody is asking for end of registration. I think the interest should be the beginning of registration, but the end tentatively is 15th October. So those who want to register on the deadline, it is 15th October.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, our presenters. Sam, yes?
There's somebody who is asking a question and says that was asking a question about analyzing the grammar for some of the questions which are set at ICPAU. That's why I said that it is very important to pay attention to every detail and knowing the level at which you are sitting for the paper. Sam, can you recommend the best school for MDC? Best school for MDC, ideally go to the list of the approved tuition providers. Call these people, and it may not be possible for me to recommend the best. Yeah, ideally, the word best, given that we have to adhere to the code of conduct and ethics of the accountants, it may not be possible on such a platform. But also, that's why I can't also share my number here, but we expect that you can get in touch with us, given that you know the institutions, you know the approved tuition providers, you know them. And the good thing is that on that list, there are contacts for each of the to each of the schools, and even the friends who are close to you, they know people who are good in these different papers. Otherwise, thank you for attending the session, and wish that the good Lord blesses you so much.
All right, thank you. And now I want to start with the JB to give a final word based on your presentation and also on the Q&A and the responses. Then I will conclude with you, Sam, and then we end our webinar.
Thank you, Ambrose. I want to encourage the students to stay safe, start reading, and to pray for this COVID to go away. We are optimistic that we shall conduct exams in November. Start preparing, because if you don't start preparing, then you will have to prepare in panic. So start now and be ready for November. I wish you a pleasant evening, and I recommend that you attend the webinars we have mentioned, which will be this Thursday and onwards. I wish you a pleasant evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Sam, final word for your students.
Yes, thank you, Ambrose, for chairing the session. Thank you, Director Education, for the insights which you have given to us. Thank you, our dear students, for attending the session. My parting thought should be about being able to prepare for the exams. We know you are facing different challenges. Amidst those challenges, financial constraints might be there. One constant is that you need a CPA. You need the CTA. You need the ATD. Even if COVID is here, even if COVID, the good thing is that the government is waiting for the vaccine. Which vaccine? They say it will take a long period. Can you tell me that you will embark on the CPA journey after the vaccine has been discovered? It might be too long. There is one constant. We should move on irrespective of the challenges which we have. One of the quotes which I've said, please, challenges make life interesting. But overcoming these challenges is what makes life meaningful. Can we try to address these challenges? Liaise with tuition providers. Somebody has asked in the chat somewhere, I have read, give us insights on passing public sector. This forum is not as such looking at that, but if somebody attended even the session where we had a student engagement seminar at Imperial Real, I was able to share these insights, and people who were probably not passing the paper, at the end of that seminar, they said, you guy, you have showed us why we failed the paper. If it is a matter of looking out for the tuition providers, approved by the institute or accredited, and they will share with you insights. Public sector is a very nice paper to pass. And me personally, I feel very, very happy whenever I lecture public sector. Advanced financial reporting. Those are very easy papers to pass, as long as you get the best source of information. And with that, thank you, Secretariat, for organizing the webinar. And we hope that we shall see the same students, the same number, attending the subsequent webinars which you have organized. I pray that the Almighty Lord blesses you so much, and thank you so much also for sparing resources as students and also the time to attend the webinar. Have a nice evening.
Right, thank you so much, our facilitators, Sam and JB. We are so very grateful. I want to thank also the students for being with us. You've kept on up to the real end. I thank you as well. I request that wherever you are, you give a round of applause, virtual, of course. Now we're in a virtual world, to our facilitators. And as we close, there are a few announcements. One, as we have communicated those webinars for students, there are also webinars for members, and the students are also invited. Such webinars are also useful for our professional developments. I know most of you are employed, and you may need that knowledge for your work-related activities. And therefore, tomorrow on Wednesday, we have a webinar for internal auditors webinar. It will focus on the emerging role of the internal auditor and the response to the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. So please register and attend. It is a free of charge webinar. Then we also have a webinar on Friday, integrated thinking and reporting. I know Sammy has a passion in integrated thinking and reporting. Please also come in, register, and attend. Those are the webinars we have this week. We will keep informing you of other webinars that, that will come up to the end of the year. I thank you so much, and may God bless you. Have a fruitful evening, and I wish you success in your accountancy journey. Let's meet on Thursday, and other webinars that we have mentioned, particularly on Thursday at 2. Ensure you book early, and we are able to meet. Have a